Hi, Math 92, Chapter 3. Now I want to go over Part 2. You already have the video for Part 1 of Chapter 3. Now here I show you two types of slope. One is increasing when you're climbing up the hill, and the other one is when the slope is decreasing when you're sliding down. So if the direction of the line is in this direction, the slope is always positive. If direction of the line is moving down, then the slope is decreasing. Let's look at this example. Y equal minus 3x plus 19. So general equation for any line. General equation for any line is y equal mx plus b. M is a slope and always sit next to x. And b is y-intercept, which I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. So if y is by itself, a number sitting next to x is your slope. So the slope here is -3. A slope is -3, so this line is decreasing. So we give you some problems and we ask you whether the line is increasing, decreasing, or neither. See, like this one. Look at these two problems here. On this one, y is minus 0.5x minus 12. That means the slope is negative number, is decreasing. The other one, the second equation, y is 8x minus 21. You see, 8 is positive. Then line is increasing. You may have a situations that is like this one. Y equal to minus 3 doesn't even have an x. Remember, y equal to minus 3 or minus 5, 4, or any other y equal a number is neither decreasing nor increasing. So the answer is neither. And I don't see any x here because it's just a horizontal line. Does it go to the right, to the left? Both. So it's neither. So you always have a situation that we give you a line and we ask you to determine whether line is increasing, decreasing, or neither ones. Next subject is x and y intercept. You know, if you have a straight line coming and intercepting the x and y axis, or your vertical and horizontal axis, that line intercept the x-axis at the point. They call it x-intercept. It also intersect the y-axis at the point. They call that y-intercept. What you need to understand is x-intercept, since this point lie on the x-axis, it doesn't have any value of x. So anytime we ask you to find the x-intercept or y-intercept, you need to understand that if y is equal to 0 and you find the x, that is your x-intercept. Let's say in this one, for example, this is 2, right? So what is your x-intercept? Your x-intercept is 2 and 0. However, y-intercept has 0 for y, and you need to find the x. See, y-intercept is the place that my straight line intersects the y-axis. This point doesn't have any x. X is always 0. Okay, so let's say this is like a -3. So your y-intercept is 0 for x and -3 for y. So you need to understand how to find y-intercept and x-intercept using this concept. You set 0 for y, find the x, 0 for x, find x. These are your x and y intercept. Now in this graph here, look, find x and y intercept of the following line. This graph is already given. So, and the best thing is to use a graphing paper for this section because it's very easy to find the numbers. Like here, this graph is given, right? This is a place that your line intersect the x-axis. What is the x of this point? When I read off the map is 5, and obviously there is no 0 for y. So x-intercept is 5 and 0. Y-intercept, this place doesn't have any x because point lie on the y-axis. But it does have a y value which is a negative. So y-intercept is 0 and -3. In case of a curve, see, this graph intersect x-axis at 2 points. So there are 2 x-intercept. One is 2 and 0. The other one is -2 and 0. There is only one point of intersections of y and the curve. This point doesn't have any x, but it does have a y value of 10. So that is your y-intercept, okay? So there are 2 x-intercept and 1 y-intercept. So that's how you find your x and y intercept off the graph if you already have the picture. These are other examples you could see here. Look. See, like this one, the graph intersect x at 3 points. That means there are 3 x-intercept, 5 and 0, -2.5 and 0, and this one is 0, 0. That happened to also be y-intercept too. This is the only place that my graph or the curve crossed the y-axis, just in one point. So point 0, 0, in fact, is x and y-intercept. So this problem has 3 x-intercept and 1 y-intercept. What if we give you the equations and ask you to find x and y-intercept? Find x and y-intercept when you have the equation. Let's say equation is this. We give you, instead of the graph, we give you the equation and we ask you to find x and y-intercept. Remember, the rule is this. If you put 0 for y and you find your x, that is your x-intercept. Means you take this 0 and you put for the y here. See? When you put 0 for y, then you see these equations. You put 0 for y, and then you need to solve these equations. When you do that, that gives you the -4. So this -4 is your x-intercept. X-intercept is -4 and 0. See? Y-intercept is really easy to do in this case because you need to put 0 for x. If you put 0 here, look, 5x is gone because 5 times 0 is, what is the value of y? 20. You see it here, see? So this is your y-intercept and your x-intercept is minus 4, comma 0. So that is your x-intercept. So that's how to find x and y-intercept if you have the equation. The previous example, you have the graph and we ask you to find x and y-intercept, you read it off the graph. This one, you have the equation and we ask you to solve and find your x and y-intercept. And for that, you use this rule. Look at this example. The equation is this. They ask you to find x and y-intercept, right? So what you do is, first, you put 0 for x in the equations. So this is gone. To find your y-intercept. Second, you put 0 for y this time. To find your x. That is your x-intercept. You could also pause it and look through the problems and then continue. But there are some problems that we, like this one. They give you equations, right? We ask you to find the slope of this equation using two of these points. Means for these problems, number 3, you have a choice of picking 2 points here. A slope is, what's the formula for a slope? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Means if you want to find a slope, you need to have coordinates of 2 points. There are 4 points here. I'll just need to select 2 of these. Any of these 4 you could pick, but I would just use the easy one like this 2, because we need only 2 points. So you take the first point, which x is 1 and y is 13, and the second point is x is 3 and y is 21. They call the first one x1, y1, x2, y2, because the first number is always x and the second number is y. So now I'll take all this and plug into this formula to find the slope is 4. So again, if you want to find the slope, you need to have this formula. Or, you know, the general formula is mx plus b, right? M always sit next to x. You see that slope is 4 here? But they want you to calculate that. So that's how to do it. Let's look at this example here. This one, this equation is given. D equal minus 100m plus 300. You understand that they always deal with 2 letters. Either it's x or y or m and d. So in this case, m represent the horizontal and d represent the y-axis, okay? Instead of x and y, you have m and d. So what I do is I come up with 2 arbitrary points. See, this one, points are not given. You should come up with 2 points. You should find x1, y1, x2, y2. How do I do that? Just come up with 2 arbitrary numbers for m. One of the good numbers is always 0. When m is 0, you substitute that here. That would eliminate this, so d is 300. This is 1 point. We don't have to graph it because we want to just use the equation. You see 300 is a large number. Second arbitrary number is when m is 1. You put that one here. Minus 100 plus is 200. See, so the first point is x1, y2. The second one is x2, y2. You take all these and you plug into that formula. That gives you the slope of minus 100. So this is formula to use a slope when coordinates of 2 points are given. Now, this one, we ask you to find a slope, x-intercept and y-intercept here, okay? So this formula, this equation is given, right? We understand that to find y-intercept and x-intercept, we gotta use this. We gotta put 0 for x, find the y, 0 for y, find the x. See, first, I have 9 times x, right? If x is 0 here, the first term is gone, so that gives me the y value. So y-intercept is 0 and -3. To find the x-intercept, now you need to put 0 for x. I mean for y in this equation. So 2 times 0, that gives you the value of x. See, you have 2/3 and you have -3. So that gives you x and y-intercept. X-intercept, y-intercept, right? Now, to find the slope, you know the general equation is y = mx plus b. Remember, if you want to read the slope off of the equation, you must have 1y, not 2y or 3y, just 1y. So this equation, what I need to do is first I divide both sides by 2. In that case, then is y by itself. You see, now you're allowed to read the slope. So you should always have 1y equal a number times x. So in this case, a slope is 9/2. What if I give you an equation which is y = 5? What is the slope of that? There is no x. But remember, if you graph it, y = 5 is the horizontal line. Remember the step master, when you are walking on the horizontal line, the slope is 0. What if you have a vertical line? Can you climb up the wall? No, the slope is undefined when it's a vertical line. Vertical lines is always x = a number, and horizontal lines is y = a number. And we discussed that in the previous sections. Now we have this kind of problems that they're telling you, okay, graph linear equations using a slope and y-intercept. Okay? So you understand that when I have equations as in form of y = mx plus b, number sitting next to x is m, and this one is y-intercept. Remember y-intercept when x is 0? See, if I put x = 0, what's the value of y? 1. So 0 and y is your y-intercept, and your slope is 2/3, 2/3, rise over run. So what you could do is first you find that point, y-intercept, 0 and 1 is this one. And from here, you could draw the line parallel to this. See, you could build your slope. A slope is rise over run, rise 2, run 3, 3 unit, 2 unit. This is your slope. And it's positive, so you know it goes in this direction. So you find your y-intercept, and from that you draw a line parallel to this line. But look at these problems. A slope is negative. That means when you build your, I'll build it here, look, the slope is -2. Just say -2/1, right? So in that case, your rise is 2, Horizontally 1, but it's in this direction because it's negative. So if the y-intercept is 3, that means you find the y-intercept, and then from here you draw the line parallel to this one. You already built. See, you go here and you built your line by parallel to this one. From the y-intercept, you draw the line parallel to this line. Y is in this direction because it's negative. So you could build your slope and then from y-intercept, draw the line. And that's what you have in these pictures here. Look. In these problems. So if you have a slope and y-intercept and we ask you to draw the line graphically, that's how to do it. Now, there are some definition for parallel lines and perpendicular lines. I'm going to go over that too. Two lines are parallel lines if they both have the same slope. And two lines are perpendicular if a slope of one is reverse or opposite of inverse of the second one. Or you could just say multiplication of both has to be -1. In that case, it's two perpendicular lines. Now let's look at this example. Are these two lines parallel lines? One is y equal 4x minus 2. The other one is y equal 4x plus 10. Look, the slope of the first one is 4 and the slope of the second one is 4. Yes, they both are parallel lines because they have the same slope. A slope always sitting next to x if you have just one y by itself. Look, if I give you equations like this, 2y equal 3x minus 1 and y equal 3x plus 7. Let's look at this example here. Are these two have the same slope? No. This is 3, but the slope of this is not 3. Why not? Because y has to be by itself. So what you need to do is you need to divide this by 2. Then look. Then in that case, a slope is 3/2, is not 3, so be careful. The only way you could tell whether two lines have the same slope is they both have one y here and number sitting next to x is equal. Two lines are perpendicular if, see in this example, one slope is 3/4, the other one is -4/3. If you multiply both slopes and happen to be -1, see, then you could tell, yes, these two are perpendicular lines. A slope of one is -4/3, the other one is 3/4. They are opposite and inverse of each other. If two lines have slope that their product is -1, or one is opposite reverse of the second one, then those two lines are perpendicular lines. The last problem is, we give you a graph and coordinates of 2 points are given. You could read them off the graph. One point is 2 and 3, the other one is -7 and 3, okay? So there is a graph, and this graph coordinates of 2 points are given, or you could just actually read it off of the graph. I want to find equations of the line, okay? One way to do it is we have a formula, right? Y equal mx plus b. They call it a slope-intercept form. There is also another equations to find for a straight line, equation of a straight line, which is written in this. They call it point slope form. If you want to use these equations, they have to give you coordinates of one point and a slope. The first one, if you want to use this, you need to have a slope and y-intercept, right? So this problem, 2 points are given. One is x1, y1, and x2, y2. This one need x1, y1, but they also need a slope. The slope is not given. The other one needs a slope and y-intercept. So what I need to do is first I need to find the slope. What is the equation of the slope? This. So we find the slope first, okay? Now I want to use these equations. I'll put that 2/3 in here. I think what I did, let me use that page, okay? First, I want to use y equal to mx plus b. I want to show you this one first. So m is 2/3. You take that and you put it here, but b is unknown. To find b, take one of the point, the point that given 2 and 3, put that into these equations. That give you the value of b. Then you could put that back here. You have m, you have b, to find the equations. Okay, so again, first you find the slope, then you put it here. Then to find a b, you need to have one of the, you need to use one of the point given in the problems to put it for x and y. Any of those 2 points is fine. See, there were 2 points, 2 and 3 in this. You could use one. It's easier to use this because both are positive. So you take that, x and y, you substitute here, you find the b. You put it back here, you find the equations. Now, I want to show you how to use the second equation to do that. To use the second equation need x1, y1, and a slope, right? We already calculate a slope was 2/3. Do we have x1 and y1? Yes, these 2 and 3. x1, y1, a slope. You put all those 3 and you put into these equations, this is what you have. And then try to distribute 2/3. Take y to the other side to find your equations. It is the same equations, but different formula. So there are 2 formulas to use. Okay? All right. So that would be end of chapter 3.